Okay, so we're carrying on from the bridal makeup trial video, and I'm gonna be prepping Bella's skin with the Josie Maran Argan Whipped Moisturizer. So this is a great moisturizer for dehydrated skins. It creates a beautiful glow. And I'm just gonna use this all over Bella's skin. Bella has amazing skin anyway, so we're just gonna hydrate. So I feel like the moisturizer just sinks into the skin a lot better when you apply it with your hands. Just the warmth from your fingertips help to melt the moisturizer into the skin. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna be testing foundation on Bella. So this is a good tip for you if you're not sure of what color to go for. So these are all Charlotte Tilbury airbrush foundations, and I've just picked 3 colors, and I'm just gonna swatch them on Bella's chest, and just to see which one we feel is gonna sink in better. So obviously when you're learning how to do makeup, you do need to color match foundation, and you can just rub them in just a little bit and see which one works better. Obviously this one you can see is super light. This one is not too bad, but you can obviously see that this one, if you rubbed it in, is gonna fully absorb and match the skin. Okay, so this product here has actually all absorbed into the skin, so this matches the chest perfectly. So we'll be using this to color match Bella's face. So she's all one color, and I'm just gonna remove that now. And obviously, as you get more confident with your foundations, you won't necessarily need to do that, but it's just a good trick for when you're starting out. I'm gonna start by applying the foundation all over Bella's face. And when you apply foundation, I like to use 2 brushes. This is a little mini concealer brush to get into the smaller areas. And then I'm gonna be using a larger buffing brush to smooth everything over. This brush is a Zoeva flat top blending brush. Bella has beautiful skin, so we don't want to overpower the face with too much product. I'm going to be highlighting the skin on top of the foundation in this video, so I haven't used any sort of glow on the skin before. So this is some tricks when applying foundation. It's better to have the highest concentration of foundation in the center of the face. You don't want to have too much product around the hairline because it can get into the hair, and obviously it's going to look really unsightly. So just keep the concentration in the center of the face and then blend outwards. And then I love to use the small brushes around the nose. And you always apply concealer after your foundation. I'm going to be talking to you about some basic makeup tricks in this video. So obviously if you're already a makeup artist, then some of these things you will know, but it's always good to have a bit of a recap. And I like to just layer the foundation. If you do thin layers, you get a longer lasting finish, and also it's just more beautiful on the skin. You can build up this foundation really easily. And then I just like to take the excess over the eyelid, so just close. Just be really careful when you're pressing over the eye, not to be too hard. You need to make sure that you're nice and gentle when you work around the eye area. And this will just even out any redness and prepare the eyelid. I'm just going to turn your face. And you also just need to make sure that you look at all angles of the face. And bring your head around. And I like to just use pressing motions over the skin. It's like a stippling motion. So again, this just helps to lock in the foundation. It also creates a seamless finish. It feels quite nice too. And then I'm just gonna go down the neck a little bit. So Bella's quite tanned on her body, but is lighter on her face, which is actually really common. A lot of people don't tan their faces. So you just need to make sure that your neck is well moisturized so the foundation doesn't look ashy. And then just take it over the chest on any area of skin that is exposed. And obviously if this is gonna be bridal, then you need to check in with your bride on what kind of neckline she has. You don't want to apply foundation all over the chest and then when she gets dressed she has a high neck, because obviously you're then gonna get foundation all over her wedding dress, which would be a disaster. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the skin there and then go on to the eyes. The two colors I'm using are Soft Ochre, which is a nudie color, and Vintage Selection, which has a little bit of shimmer and is also a slightly off pink. So this is just gonna create a beautiful glow on Bella's eyelid. So I've just scooped a little bit from each one and I'm just popped it on my palette. I'm then gonna use a fluffy blending brush just to polish that over Bella's eye. I find that these color combinations are really flattering. The nude on its own can be quite yellow based, and the Vintage Selection on its own can be really shimmery. So if you mix them together, you get the perfect base for that glowy eye. And I'm going all the way up into the inner corners of the eye and across under the brow bone. You need to work quite quickly with these products because they will set. And I'll just turn your head around here. So I'm also just taking it just on the inner corner of the eye too, using the same brush, and that'll just prep the inner eye as well. This is a fantastic product. It really locks in the eyeshadow and creates a perfect canvas. And just look up for me. I'm gonna take it underneath the eye as well. So using my Real Techniques little mini shader brush, I'm just gonna collect a little bit of both colors and go underneath the eye. So just look up. And again, this is just gonna neutralize any redness under the eye and prepare the skin for the eyeshadow. And underneath. And just be really gentle around the eye area, making sure that you're not pressing too hard. So what I like to do now is just, if you just close for me, Bella, is just touch the eyelids just to make sure that that product is set. You just need to give it a moment. If you apply your eyeshadows or any sort of powder on top of the eye primer when it's still a little bit tacky, it's gonna really grab hold of that eyeshadow and it'll be tricky to blend. So just making sure that that's all set. I'm gonna use one of my favorite products to prep the eyes with. This is the Hourglass Nude Light Bronzer. It's seen some love. And then we're gonna wash this all over the lid. So I'll just turn your head and then just close for me. So just supporting the top of the lid, using a really big fluffy brush. This is a Luxe crease brush, 228 by Zoeva. And we're just gonna go all over the lid. And this will just give you a really beautiful base for that gorgeous bronzy eye. And just taking the excess underneath the brow bone and into the inner corner. So this is quite a smoked out bronzy eye. So you can afford to kind of take it all over the lid and on the inside. And then just open. Gorgeous. And then repeat the same with the other eye. Starting in the crease, because that's where you want the maximum depth of color. Working into the crease. And I like to do these windscreen wiper motions. You'll see me do a lot of this in the makeup videos. And then I also circle as I come out to the outer corners. And if you windscreen and circle, then it's just the best way of getting that perfect blend. And just practice being really light-handed. I hold my brush quite far at the end, and that just makes it much more lightweight on the model's skin. It's really important to keep taking a step back and looking at your model and making sure that everything's balanced. And don't be afraid to check the face in the different lights and just make sure that you know exactly where all your shadow's going. I'm going to use the same color underneath the eye, and this is just a round Suku blending brush, and we're just going to go all over the primer at the bottom of the eye. This is like a pencil brush, but it's super soft and it's just going to really diffuse the color for you. If you use a more dense brush, then you're going to get a really heavy buildup of color, and we just want this to be perfectly blended and seamless. So this is the eye palette that I've chosen. This is the Stoned Rose palette by Charlotte Tilbury. So this is a great product to have in your kit because you can pretty much do a whole face with one palette, which is what I love. So I'm going to go in with the smoke color first, and I'm using a flat eyeshadow brush just to load up my color. So this has a slightly pinky bronzy tone, which will be really beautiful on Bella. And then I'm gonna flip my brush around. We're just gonna have the highest concentration of product at this outer corner of the eye. So I'm just placing the product in first, and then we're gonna blend. And it's like a backwards C shape or a backwards V shape. And this is how you contour out the eye. So we've already got that beautiful bronzer underneath, and that's gonna be our base. So this will just blend seamlessly into it. And I'm using that same blending brush and going into the crease. I also like to just to take it out towards the eyebrow for that really smoked out look. And I'm just gonna go in and just add as you go. It's much easier to add product than to remove. If you have a bride that's slightly nervous in your chair, you can allow them to hold a mirror and kind of just check in with them and see. I'll just move your head across and see if they're okay with the colors. If you feel like they are a little bit nervous, then it's better to kind of check in with them halfway and make sure that they're happy with the colors, rather than getting right the way to the end and you've spent an hour and a half doing a makeup trial and then they're like, yeah, I actually don't like that color. And by then it's too late. So just check in with your bride if you feel like they need a little bit of reassurance. And again, I'm just being really light-handed, working through that crease. And this is blending perfectly in because we've done all that prep work. I'll just turn your head around this way. Okay, so I'm just reinforcing that color again. I've loaded up my brush and I'm just tapping this onto the outer corner, so that little backwards V or backwards C shape. And it's always good to use a slightly tapered brush as well, because that'll just help diffuse that color even more. If your brushes are too fanned, you're gonna spread the product too far. So a slightly tapered brush is perfect for these little tight corners. And then just open. And you can just make sure that you're catching the right area of the eye. Just keep your eyes open for a minute. And you can just do it with the eye open, just so you can see that you're in the right place. I'm just catching the top of Bella's brow bone, just a little bit. We don't want to go too high. And this just makes sure that we're in the right place, and keep taking a step back. Bella's eyes look so green. Love this color. I'm using the exact same smoke color underneath the eye now, loading up my pencil brush. Just reinforcing that color again. I'm using a tissue just to support Bella's skin and make sure that I'm not pressing too hard. It also can catch any fallout. I like to use tissue. It's the easiest way. And just going over. So this is a pretty smoked out look, so I am taking it quite low down. So this is perfect for your more bohemian bride that wants that super blown out look. And then I'll do the other side. And just look up. You can also use your tissue just to tap off any excess. I find that's really handy to have it here. Perfect. So that's looking nice and smoky. This is also a good time to use a clean blending brush just to perfect everything. So I'm going to go into this inner corner of the eye now. So we've already done our beautiful smoke. I'm going to go in with the enhance and a little bit of the brighten color. These are just a perfect combination. Just tap off the excess, and then we're just going to press over the inside. And that'll just give a little bit of glow. And you can take this on the inner corner as well. And then just blending back with your fluffy blending brush all over. I don't want the highlight to be too intense. The feature is going to be on the outer corners of the eye, but I just want a little bit of shine to add a little bit of dimension onto the eyelid. This is another Charlotte Tilbury product. This is the Pillow Talk eyeliner. This is a really warm bronzy color. It's going to be beautiful on Bella's eyes. So what we're going to do is just map out the wing first and then smudge it out and take it across. So this is going to be a really soft eye. So just open for me. And when you're doing the wing, you want to follow the bottom lash line all the way up to the eyebrow. So just make sure that you're really concentrating on what you're doing, and you can just do little strokes. This is going to be nice and blended. So this is a really great way of starting out to nail your winged liner looks. And then just open. Beautiful. And just take that out as far as you need and just close. Okay, just open for me. Gorgeous. And it's really important to get your model to open and close her eye so you can see how the liner wing looks with the eye open as well as closed. It's obviously really important. I'm then just going to soften the liner with an angled brush. So just close and just support the eye. So just pull the eye back slightly, and that'll just give you great control. So we're not looking for a really sharp line for this look. It is going to be quite soft and diffused. So again, if you're just starting out, this is a really good way to hack that winged liner look. And just use the brush to help you as well. I'm a big believer of using your tools to help you out, and just drag the product back over and then just open. Gorgeous. And then close again. And I'm just going to lift the lid and get right the way into these bottom lash line, right close to where the lashes meet the skin, and just make sure that you filled in any gaps, and then go over again and smudge. And then open again. Beautiful. and close. So I'm gonna bring this all the way across. If you had someone that had slightly smaller eyes, you could just keep the wing on the outer corner. But Bella has beautiful, nice almond eyes, so I'm gonna go all the way across. And if you just stop short of the inner corner of the eye, you can actually use your angle brush to push the liner into the inner corner. Sometimes if you take the liner all the way across to the inside, you end up with too much product in the inner corner of the eye. So just use your brush and what's excess on the brush to nudge that eyeliner right into the inner corners. And that way you have a really effortless line. And then open, gorgeous. And then close again. And open, perfect. Now you're gonna match up the other side. So I'll just bring your face across. So then just look down for me and then just look up. And just get a visual in your head of where you're gonna be placing the product. So I can see Bella's eyelid comes, or I can see the eye line is just here and the end of the eyebrow is here. So you wanna create your line in this direction. So you can just do little flicks to start and make sure that you're in the right place and then just close. And then open. And open again. Okay, so just open and turn your head around and then just look down. So just support the skin and we're going right to the outer corner of Bella's eye. And then just open again, making sure that you're in the right place. And then just open. So I'm taking this under Bella's crease here. So you need to make sure that you can get this eyeliner lifting upwards. Some people will have a much wider space in between their lash line and their eyebrow, and it's easier to get the wing. But when people want to have a wing and they don't have much eyelid space, then you want to go underneath the lash line and underneath that crease there and wing it out. And that way you get that elongated eye. Just close. And again, just going into the inner corner with your brush. And whatever is on the residue of the brush, just use that to wing out and perfect the tip. And then just open, gorgeous. And then just making sure that both of your wings are symmetrical. Most people's eyes are slightly different, so you just need to be aware of that, and you can compensate with your liner. And then open. Underneath the eyes, I'm going to use my full coverage palette by MAC. I'm just going to mix the lightest two colors. So this is a pinky undertone and also a warm undertone. I like to work with lots of different colors on my palette at the same time, and that way you can just customize your client's skin tone with your products. Some areas are lighter and darker, and this gives you a really beautiful finish. So that way it just keeps your skin looking natural. So I'm using my cut concealer brush. This is by My Kit Co. And this is great for working with winged liners. You can just pick up a little bit of your concealer and then you can really help to carve out the liner. It also helps if you've made any mistakes and you just use it underneath the liner. I like to place it and pull down, place it under the wing and pull down, and then you can just use it to really make sure that you've got that beautiful sharp point. And it also helps get in to the outer corner of the eye. Sometimes you get a little bit of redness, discoloration right at the edge of the eye, and that just helps you get right into those hard to reach places. And then we're just going to do the same with the other eye. So supporting the skin always, and then apply and pull down, apply and pull down. I also like to use this brush on the lips as well. So if you're doing red lipstick, it really helps to keep your edges nice and sharp. Okay, and then just look straight ahead. Gorgeous. I'm just going to do a little bit more concealer under the eyes. I'm using the Real Techniques brush here. This is a dual fiber brush, perfect for creams. I always go in the center of the face as well, just for a little bit of extra concealing. I like to avoid using too much product on the nose, especially if they have, like Bella does, beautiful little freckles. So just look down for me. So I'm just gonna curl Bella's lashes. So you wanna make sure that you really lift the lid and then very gently press down, making sure that you don't disturb your eyeshadow. And it's always better to kind of look down the back of the curlers, so you need to be at the right height and make sure that you're not pinching, and then just really lightly squeeze the curlers. You don't want to create dents in the lashes. I'm using the Kevyn Aucoin curling mascara, so you'll see me use this all the time in the upcoming videos. This is pretty much the only mascara I use now. So just turn your head and look down. So always get the client to look down. And then I like to lift the lid and then work it through the base of the lashes and then roll the brush through. So getting right into the base and then rolling through. We're going to apply some falsies over the top, but we just want to get a little bit of mascara on first. Personally, I like to do mascara first and then falsies. I find that you just get a better grab with the lashes. I also have one of these fan brushes as well. This is by Crown, and I just like to use this just to remove any excess product. You can use these to apply your mascara with as well. I like to use it on the bottom lashes sometimes, and just look down. Lifting the lid, working into the base and rolling through. You can go down the back of the lashes as well, and just make sure that you're giving your client, your bride, a break in between applications. If you feel like she's struggling, then just take a step back and just be aware of her body language. You can also use these little brushes to drag the product down the back of the lash and get super close to the lash line. And this will also just fan out your lashes to make sure they're nice and even, and then just open. Gorgeous. So Bella's got amazing lashes anyway, but we're going to go in with some falsies just to make it a little bit more dramatic. So these are the Model Rock individual lashes. I love these. They're so wispy and they just give a really beautiful finish. So I'm using short, medium and long on Bella. I'm going to go in with the medium ones first, and I'm going to go in right at the center of the eye. And then just leave a little gap in between each medium lash that you're applying, because we're going to go in with some longer ones in those gaps, and that way you get a really fluffy finish. So I'm just going in with some more mediums. You can lift up the lid and just make sure that you're placing the base of the lash right where the root starts. So you don't want to have any of the lash touching the skin. It's got to be right up in between the lashes. And this glue dries clear, so it's perfect when you're using lighter colors around the eyes. And then just bring your head back around here. So I also like when I'm doing the outer corners just to bring the lid backwards. That way you get a good stretch and you can get that lash in the correct position. I'm going to go in with some long ones now, and I'm just going to go in between the gaps now. And use your tweezers to help anchor them in so they're in the right spot. And just turn your head around. Again, lifting the lid. I find if you hold the lash in the middle with the tweezers, you get much better control. And then bring you back around, and then just take a step back and just look and see how the eyes are looking. Just look up for me. And you can also get your client to look up and make sure that the lashes are creating a really beautiful shape, and see if you need to add any more. We're going to fill in the inside now. So I'm going to do a couple of mediums, just look down. Inside. And it's much better to do this with your client's eyes open. If they do close their eyes, you do run the risk of gluing their eye shut, which is not good for anybody. And then open. Gorgeous. So I'm going in with my short lashes now, and I'm just going to do a couple of little ones on the inside. I like to angle my tweezers as well to catch the inside. You need to find a way that works for you, but you can just play with different ways of holding your tweezers. And last two. And then open. Beautiful. Underneath the eye, I'm just going to reinforce the smoke color. So just look up. I'm just using this fan brush by Hakuhodo, and I'm just pressing underneath the eye, and that'll just give us that beautiful smoked out look. This is a really fluffy brush. You need to make sure that you're using really soft brushes when doing anything really close to the eye. And just turn your head that way, and then just look up for me. So everything's beautifully blended already underneath, so we're just reinforcing that color underneath. And then I'm going in with my mascara on a little spoolie. These are really fun spoolies. You'll see me use these a couple of times throughout the series. And just look up. I got these from AliExpress and they're just so great for catching bottom lashes. And you can also use them just to blend in the falsie. So just look down and I'm just gonna really lightly dust the back of the lash. We don't want to overload the lashes with too much mascara. So this will just catch any little fine flyaway ones and just blend them in and then open. Beautiful. So the eyes are looking great. I love the colors that we've used. This is the Nudies Nudie Blooms and it's in Sweet Peach Peony, which is a beautiful peachy color, which is perfect for blondes. And I'm using a Shiramera fluffy brush for application. Now this is actually a powder brush, but I love to use it for creams because you just get that gorgeous diffused look. I'm just going over the apples of the cheeks. You don't want to take the blush too far back into the hairline because it really is there just to add a little bit of color and pop to the cheeks. For the highlight, I've chosen the Mecca Lit From Within. This is a beautiful creamy highlighter. So I'm just gonna go in with my concealer brush that we used earlier. And you'll see me do a lot of this. I'll just turn your head, is using my concealer brushes and my foundation brushes to layer over the top with your blushes and your highlights. I just find that you get the best transition. And this is such a flattering color. It's perfect for blondes, anyone with fair skin. And just using a clean finger just to take off any edges. You can also use a beauty blender for this. And then turn your head around. And then turn around here. I'm going to do a tiny little bit across the nose. With bridal looks, you need to be careful with using highlighter on the center of the face. I would always avoid using it on the lip area. A lot of makeup artists will use a little bit of highlighter on the cupid's bow, but it can actually end up looking like sweat in your pictures, which is a big no-no. So just keep a little bit on the nose and then just avoid doing anything on the lips. For the brows, Bella's actually had her brows laminated, so they look absolutely incredible. I'm just gonna use a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the color Taupe. So just combing through, I'll just bring your head around. So I'm just gonna fill in any little gaps. Just flick the product through the brow. We want them to be nice and fluffy, so no heavy brows. And then I'm going to set them with a clear gel, so just turn back around. And that's all I feel we need with this look. Making sure you brush as you go. And just again, taking a step back and making sure that you're really happy with the placement of your color. So I'm going to use the Laura Mercier translucent powder, just a tiny bit through the center of the face before I put the brow gel on, just to take off any additional shine. This is a really glowy look, so it's perfect for your brides that want that dewy finish. So I'm just powdering the T-zone and I get a little bit under the cheeks here because we're going to apply a little bit of bronzer. Just going in with a clear brow gel and a spoolie and brush those brows up. So good. To tie this look in, I'm using the original bronzer that I used in the beginning, just with a MAC angled brush. I'm just gonna turn the cheek, and we're just gonna go underneath the cheekbone here, just to carve out and just add a little bit of dimension to Bella's face. A little bit around the hairline, into the ear. And then turn your head right around. And the same on this side. You just want to make sure that you get right into that cheekbone there. And again, let your brushes do the work. And then just tie it down onto the neck and just across the chest. And then bring your head back around. Beautiful. This is one of my favorite lip liners to use. This is the Pat McGrath Bare Rose. So I use this quite a lot in my videos. I find it's a really good neutral. It works on a lot of skin tones and you can layer over the top of it. This just ties in with our beautiful rose colored eye. And take your time when you're doing liner, little strokes. I like to shape the center of the mouth first. Bella has incredible lips, so we're just catching the edge of her lip line. And I'll just get you to turn your head. And I always stop short of the corner of the mouth. We don't want to overdraw on the outside of the lips. And then bring your hand back around and just support the lip with your other finger, and that just helps keep it nice and taut. These lip liners actually act as a beautiful color. You could just pop some balm over the top and you're ready to go. I am gonna add a bit of lip color to this as well. I'm going to go over the lip liner with just a gloss. So this is just a clear gloss by Shiseido. I have it on my palette. And this is a high intensity gloss. So I feel like the lip liner is actually enough on its own. It gives a really deep color as it is. And the gloss will just tie it all together. Just finishing off with the gloss there. Oh my God, Bella looks absolutely incredible. I mean, what a face. This is your gorgeous rosy eye with a Luxe liner.